This statement relates to concerns regarding conduct of Judge Roman Atlas following an in-chambers meeting between Judge Atlas, Angela Horn, Captain Vincent Ventura, Sheriff Arnold Frost, Under Sheriff Jenna Mustard. This meeting was held to determine the handling of a FOIA request outlined in Docket Case Civil 19. The FOIA request had previously been denied by Sheriff Frost on the basis that the requested information pertained to an active and ongoing investigation. Following further discussion on the docket post, a meeting was scheduled between the involved parties to address the matter in person. PD attended the in-chambers meeting, during which Judge Atlas determined that the requested documents could not be released at the time due to their connection to an ongoing investigation. Judge Atlas further advised that the documents could be requested again once the statute of limitations had passed. The PD party agreed with the determination. However, Hahn appeared visibly dissatisfied and audibly disgruntled, declining to engage further in discussion and stating that it doesn't matter. After the determination was made, Judge Atlas dismissed the PD party from chambers, however, requested that Hahn remain behind. PD is not aware of what, if any, matters were discussed after PD was dismissed, or whether any such discussion related to the prior FOIA determination/ruling. To note, prior to the in-chambers meeting with all parties present, Judge Atlas declined to discuss matters relating to the case with Captain Ventura unless Hahn was present. PD had no issue with this approach, as it reflects proper procedure and avoids one-sided communication. PD respectfully requests that the same procedural considerations be applied to all parties. This context is noted to document awareness of proper procedure in relation to the subsequent handling. Approximately 1 hour after the in-chambers meeting, Captain Ventura received a phone call from Judge Atlas advising that the earlier decision had been reconsidered and that the requested reports were now to be provided to the court for the purpose of verifying that an investigation was ongoing.
Rudolph, you son
Oh, what
of
the
a bitch.
fuck? What the fuck?
Fuck you, Rudolph! Hey!
Jesus fuck!
I need a man so bad.
That was a fucking faceless deer!
That was fucking Rudolph!
Yeah, he joined the faceless!
Rudolph's in the faceless!
Dude, I almost choked.
Fucking hate that fucking reindeer. Fucking honestly, that motherfucker wields a class 2 and robs 24/7s. You know, you
What?
robbed all my PD equipment once, right?
What the fuck?
Disgraceful.
I fucking hate that guy. And the worst part is, I put that motherfucker in a grave, okay? And he came back.
Brother, you lost to a deer.
Lost to a deer. Did you see the deer? You ever seen a deer with a class 2 in their fucking mouth? Blunt?
No, I can't say that I have.
Shall
I'd
I
like to see
continue reading
you
this?
fight a deer wielding a class 2,
Yes.
jacked up on cocaine at Christmas. Sorry, Jenna, please.
Please go ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
All these damn hoof prints on the grass, that thing must weigh a ton.
That an investigation was ongoing. Captain Ventura informed Judge Atlas that the primary investigators involved in the case were not on duty and they would not be able to be provided until the next day. Judge Atlas persisted and demanded that the documents should be provided immediately. PD was not notified that the issue would be revisited and was not present for any further discussion, and was not given an opportunity to be heard prior to the change in position. After several back and forth calls between Judge Atlas and Captain Ventura, Judge Atlas again changed their ruling, determining that Captain Ventura was to hand over the documents to Hahn and their clients, despite the ongoing investigation and previous ruling. PD complied with the revised ruling. To be clear, PD is not disputing the ruling itself. PD's concern is with the process and the conduct surrounding how the ruling was reached. This sequence of events raises concerns regarding procedural fairness and creates the appearance of ex parte communication as on a contested issue. PD respectfully seeks a review of this conduct and clarification on the proper process for reconsideration of judicial determinations to ensure transparency, consistency, and fairness for all parties moving forward. PD further raises concern regarding the manner in which the court's written ruling characterized the post-hearing request for substantiation of the FOIA denial. In the ruling, the court stated that when the reasoning for the denial was later requested, it was unable to be produced or provided in any way, and that the basis for denial therefore could not be substantiated. This characterization does not reflect the explanation provided by PD at the time. PD advised the court that the investigators primarily involved in the matter were not on duty and that the requested information could be provided the following day. PD did not refuse to provide any information or indicate that the reasoning could not be substantiated. The issue raised was one of timing and availability, not unwillingness or inability. PD notes this distinction as it affects how PD's conduct is reflected on the record. The omission of this context creates the appearance that PD failed to substantiate the denial, rather than having sought reasonable time to obtain the relevant information. This further contributes to PD's concern regarding procedural fairness and the accurate reflection of events on the record. Do you want me to share this with you?
Sure.
So, and so I know that this was written initially, right? That was what you wrote.
Yeah, but this is what was presented today to Angel. Bear in mind, all of this is stemming from a property that wasn't locked down for even 24 hours. It was like 14, 16 or some shit at most. They initially tried writing a civil suit for $18 million.
They did an injunction.
With their witness being fucking Davenport, who just fucking spoke loads of shit to them, giving them reason to write the report because he didn't have a clue what was going on.
Wait, whoa. Davenport spoke to who?
Oh, the people whose property was locked down.
Why?
Because he's a dumb fuck.
Wait, so you're telling me Davenport went to the suspects?
No, they came to him.
So what happened was, I mean, I can read it. Miss Cassandra Cage spoke with Sergeant Jack Davenport regarding the lockdown. Sergeant Davenport stated that he did not know why the properties were locked down and confirmed that there was no active warrant nor pending warrant at any time. Despite this acknowledgement, the lockdown remained in effect, which he was unsure why. He was then called as a witness. So instead of him doing what quite literally any single fucking person with the slightest, even tiniest brain or 1 month plus of experience in a PD by answering criminals who have properties locked down in a shift that aren't the shift that you're normally in, by people who you don't work with because you don't see them because you're in different shifts. I mean, me personally, I would say, unfortunately, it looks like this is being handled by the BCSO or being handled by fucking Knight or Frost or Jenna. I don't have the information. I'll pass a message on. I'll get them to get in touch. That would be the most reasonable and common sense response in the entire world, right? Instead, he said, oh, well, I've looked through the fucking MDT, mate, and I can't see any fucking search warrant, so I have no fucking clue why they locked down, can't. He said that, which made them write this fucking civil suit, which caused all of this.
To understand the steps here, that evening, there was a FOIA request, right? And
no, that evening, there wasn't a FOIA request. They just put this civil suit up. Then once this got
but what was the original thing that Roman said? He said you need to show proof it's active before 24 hours.
This is what led into it. So, I mean, Jenna can explain this better than me. This was when we all went to the chambers after I denied the FOIAs pending an active investigation.
To prove you had an active investigation.
No. We went to discuss that I wasn't releasing the FOIAs, and they were trying to rebut that, right? So we went into the chambers, Angela Han, me, Jenna, and Ventura, and told them why I denied the FOIAs and why we wouldn't be providing them at this time. We said we were happy to provide the search warrants, but we aren't happy to provide any information into the investigation. He then ruled a denial of the release of the FOIAs. Me, Jenna, and Ventura left. Just bearing in mind as well, during this conversation, and Jenna can back this up just so it isn't just my perspective, he was like, oh, well, Angela, I'm going to have to deny this because they have an active investigation. You know, like some proper biased, sarcastic shit.
I mean, we left and, like,
Heretic
even, like, as we
11.
left, Frost said that didn't seem very unbiased, and I was like, it really, like, it seemed it was almost sarcastic. It's hard to explain. It was like, well, I guess I have to rule this way. It was, I don't know, maybe it's just the way he
like
talks,
he was
but it
mad. It
came
was
across
almost like he was
pretty
upset he had to
poorly.
rule that way. Anyway,
did,
I
yeah.
mean, that doesn't matter. We can't argue tone. That's cringe, right? But it did happen.
Yeah.
Then as we were leaving, he was,
But may I ask a clarifying question just real quick? Why does this sounds like, why would there need to be a conversation if you have 72 hours to produce anyways?
No, this was...
I didn't think he was making a ruling then and there, if I'm honest.
No,
I didn't
this-
realize that was what was happening.
This wasn't straight after, so I denied the search warrants, right? Straight away. They then put up a docket posting after the 72 hours because I denied them for an active investigation. This was then ruling on that docket posting where they were trying to appeal my denial, essentially. Then this is when we had that conversation. He ruled that he would be denying the FOIAs again. Then he was like, oh, Angela, stay behind. I want to have a one-on-one with you real quick. So we left. And then this is where Jenna will pick up because I went to sleep. So after we left, what then happened, Jenna?
So we all left. He had asked Han to stay behind and dismissed us and sent us out the door, and we left and went and responded to other stuff, whatever. And like an hour later, maybe 40 minutes to an hour later, the judge calls Ventura and says, I mean, I wasn't privy to the phone call. I just know from what he told me and what we've gone over. He says that he now needs proof of the ongoing investigation provided to him so that he can ensure that it is ongoing. Which, you know, we said, okay, no worries, that can be provided, but not until later because the investigators aren't on duty right now. And he says, okay, I'll get back to you. So they have a couple of back and forth phone calls. I don't know what was happening in between. He kept on calling Ventura, then hanging up, then calling Ventura, then hanging up, which eventually ended in, you have to give this to me right now, or I'm going to rule that it's given to Han and the clients. And he said, well, I can't do that. I can give it to you tomorrow, but I can't give it to you right now because I'm not the primary investigator. And so he said, okay, well, I am ruling that it's going to be handed over to Han, and, you know, the FOIA denial is overturned. Did you...
And the overturning happened before the 72 hours had elapsed, right?
Truthfully, I don't know.
That's an important bit for me
Wait, what
as
was
well.
the question?
Like
So-
when... Go ahead, Jenna.
He kept saying, I had 48 hours to do the ruling or something. What is it that he kept saying? I have 48 hours or something.
I honestly
don't know whether...
understand what he was talking about, but he did say that the reason his ruling was swift and the reason that he didn't call the defendant, i.e. the BCSO,
Because
for a meeting with the prosecution.
I'll tell you
to
why,
discuss the
because
changing ruling is because he had a 48-hour deadline.
this
and
shit
it was
is
nearly
sweaty.
up. Whatever that means.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Listen, like, saying, why don't you just do this thing that makes life that much more difficult for parties, like, that are trying to do something that barely anyone wants to do, is red tape. No one wants to fuck with the red tape.
The FOIA legislation?
If there's an issue with
Article
it,
4D
we have these things in
gives them
place. Like,
48 hours to
we
make the
lock
decision.
it so that PD's not hammed up. You have 72 hours to produce unless there's an active. If we start re-questioning the meaning of what is and isn't active,
Was it coming
instead
up
of
on that
just
time
like
frame?
awaiting
Well,
what can then inevitably be a
right.
civil lawsuit after a certain window of time, like I think there should be a window of time after which you have to produce it. But doing it in the midst,
yeah.
like, I don't think people understand this because they've
Docket
never
posting
actually
was
investigated
24th.
anything in their life. They just presume
it'll be
it.
when the judge
Is that
sends
when
it,
you're
right?
investigating, it's a lot of mental drain and it requires a lot of focus to make
it be
sure
from
all
when
the
the
pieces
judge
are together.
and
So
it would be
red
from
tape and
when-
people
Yeah,
like putting their hand
from
in the
the
pod just fucks it up.
So 48
Okay.
hours past the posting.
24th of January at 8 p.m. GMT. And
So this was-
So that's the issue. So answers like why not just are discarding the inherent problem of
yeah, he
the
made it like
$40.
5 days and fucking
adding a
6 hours later.
unnecessary step.
Was he operating off of
That
48
historically-
hours of post him entering?
Yeah.
When did he
Let's see
enter
when
into
he
the
entered.
case?
He entered the case. 1 second.
Yeah.
He entered on the 27th.
Okay.
Look at how much
Oh, yeah,
work
so if
Nakota's doing right now.
That sounds like that's what.
Imagine
that's
those
the 48 hours
same
he's
things
going
happen.
on.
This guy wouldn't be done for the end of the
He
week.
entered on the 26th of January at 5 p.m.
Okay.
The ruling was made on the 29th of January at 1 a.m. So that's still over 48 hours
Still
now.
over, yeah.
The problem is, I'm just going to say it how it is. Guess what, guys? I don't have a fucking law degree. Like shit.
Yeah.
Fuck am I, you know what I mean?
So you had this meeting with Angel. How'd that go? Or what happened there? I guess that's the question.
I'm never doing that again, I tell you what.
Please do explain it. And by the way, the
Yeah.
reason Blunt's here is I haven't told him anything, and I'm curious of his opinion because never mind. I'm not going to say it yet, but please.
So how it went?
Yeah.
We went in. Jenna just read what she read. Angel was, I'd say, defensive. It came to the conclusion that she wasn't going to make an opinion without Roman being in the room because no one can prove what he said or did or his thoughts apart from him, which was fair enough, I guess. So Roman got brought into the room. Angel summarized what we stated and asked him why he changed the ruling without us being present. His reasoning was something along the lines of, oh no, what was the conversation in the room, first of all, was the first question. He said, the one-on-one was nothing in regards to the case. It was in regards to a case just prior. Angela Han was explaining that she was very upset and she was going to quit and she doesn't want to be a lawyer anymore due to recent rulings against her. I said, hold on a minute. I was like, and again, I'm not being hostile here, but just from my perspective, you can see how this looks. You're telling me that you made a ruling with a defendant present. We left. A lawyer then states to you that she's very upset and she's going to leave her job due to the rulings against her. And then miraculously, you decide to change the ruling without us being present. Then straight away, it was like, everyone was barking at me. Like, I got in trouble for being accusatory. So I just
How
stopped
dare you
speaking.
say words of something that's very plausible? Okay.
So yeah, I got absolutely
I
shut
don't think
down.
that's a stretch.
Yeah.
Angel was, I can't believe you said this, man. Like everyone was like mad at me. I was like, whatever, okay, I'm gonna stop speaking. He then said that the reason he changed the ruling.
That's why I'm not saying anything. I'm curious if Blunt walks away and be like, yo, wait a minute, this happened to us.
To a justice, they pointed it out to him, which changed his decision. It was his fault, and he was sorry that he didn't
That's the
call us,
48
but he had a
hours thing.
48-hour deadline, blah, blah, blah. We then said, but you only provided us an hour, and the investigators weren't awake. We stated that we needed like a day and we'd get all of the information over. This is when Angel was like, so you're telling me, Under Sheriff Mustard, you didn't have access to the investigation reports? Mustard was like, no, I didn't. And then she was like, Captain Ventura, you're telling me as well that you didn't have access to Opal or Aaron's investigation? Ventura was like, no, I didn't. I don't know if they were in private reports. I know that she was initially writing it on a notepad. They then asked me. I said, I'm going to be honest. I've been in New Austin, and since raiding that warehouse, I've probably been around for a collective of like 3 hours. I was like, I'm going to hold accountability that I'm oversight of these individuals who aren't in my department because the overall case has my name to it. I was like, but no, I don't have the information at hand. And just to provide further context, as soon as the judge made the ruling in that courtroom, I went to sleep. I wasn't even there when he changed his mind.
And for clarity,
and then-
you didn't have the information at the time the initial
we could have got
conversation
it.
happened, right?
No.
But you have it today, just for clarity over the question that was asked of you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's-
and that makes sense. I think it's, to be clear here, if you've done any investigative work, that question was not only unreasonable, but sounded like rage bait, if I'm gonna be honest. Probably not intentional, but that's how I would read it.
Then it was just a whole. So you're telling me the sheriff, the undersheriff,
Yeah.
the crackhead didn't have any.
Like, I'd get rage baited by that. I don't think it was.
People under them
but
were
like,
working on. And I said, look, I'm going to be honest. These two individuals aren't in my department. I was like, the reason we're involved in this is because I denied the FOIAs. Now, the reason I denied the FOIAs initially is because it was like 5 a.m. We just raided the warehouse. I said to Opal and Erin, we should probably unlock those properties if we don't have enough PC. Opal's verbatim response was, there is no way on this earth I don't have enough PC. I said, okay. I was like, if you believe you will get the PC, keep them locked down. She was like, not only that, I've just subpoenaed Dante's fucking phone records and bank records. I'm going to use this to further my RS and get the PC. I was like, okay, great. No problem. Went to sleep. Then that was pretty much that in terms of the like investigation, like my oversight in it. I'll be honest, I've not really seen Opal since. So this is my, to be fair, I got us into this situation by trusting Opal's word and denying the FOIAs from the conversation we had the night prior. I'm still going to take accountability for that. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus or shift blame. Like, I'll just, like, it is what it is. So that's how the situation arose. And due to that, when they were giving us the hour deadline at fucking, I mean, I would have gone to sleep at like 2 a.m. So for Erin and Opal, by the time that this got spoken about, it must have been 3, 4 a.m. There is no way reasonable that those two individuals would have been awake. And they gave us a 1 hour deadline to produce their investigative reports. Which, if I'm going to be honest, even if I did go through the MDT and find them, I don't think it's my right to produce another person's investigative report without consulting them. To be quite frank, and tell me if I'm wrong.
You don't know which parts, you know, are part of the active investigation. Realistically, and not because you're not the investigator on the case.
You might release something
I
that's
don't think
redacted.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'm not fucking playing dumb. I am the overall oversight. I did claim that. I did deny the FOIAs. Should I have been more privy to the information? Absolutely. That doesn't change the fact that it's wrong to give us an hour. Like,
Blunt,
No,
what
It was
is...
just, it was unreasonable. I don't understand the 48-hour deadline when it was already past that as
yeah.
well. That seems like a convenient excuse. I don't know. I don't know.
Blunt, I'd like to hear your opinion on this, because I've shared mine and I don't want to influence your thoughts, including but not limited to, feel free to share what we've dealt with.
So real quick, just before we touch on, because obviously there's concerns in the way it went down, right? But what was the outcome of the meeting? Like, where did things land?
the outcome was...
Here, hold on, pause 1 second.
Oh, sorry. I thought you asked a question.
Thank you so much.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Cool
sir.
mask.
Hey.
Appreciate you. Sorry, just wanted to not have him hear anything. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The outcome of the case, to be honest, was Roman understood that we should have been present, and he knows that it wasn't right for us to not be present when he changed his ruling. He then, every time he took that small amount of accountability, he was like changing the subject and pushing the fact that we didn't have the information. And we kept stating, we aren't upset with the ruling. We aren't upset with the change in ruling. We aren't upset that we had to provide the search warrants. We even said in the chambered conversation that we would provide the search warrant. The only thing that we're upset about and the only thing that we want to talk about here is why the ruling was made without us present. And it just kept going like, well, you're telling me the sheriff didn't have the investigative reports, and like it just kept going into like shitting on us for not having the investigative reports, and we kept having to reel it back and say, this isn't what this conversation's about. Like this isn't what we're trying to discuss here.
And Roman was doing that, or Angel was doing that?
Both of them.
Both.
They were just shitting on us, to be honest.
It was pretty. I don't know. It was very belittle. I felt like we were getting in trouble, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It was very. I don't know. I felt like we got scolded
by an entity that cannot scold you.
And I just want to state as well, I mean, like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can be a dick, right? But you know what I want when I'm in that mindset where, like, I want to learn, like, I'm there to learn. I very much presented to Angel that I'm not here to be hostile, and I want to treat this as a knowledgeable experience where we can learn. I said, we don't even know if this
Police
was
cat,
in bad
police cat.
conduct. We're here asking
I don't think this
you
is the
if
end
it
of the
was
world
bad
stuff.
conduct.
I think
We
that
wanna
there is the
learn
other side that
because
I want to
we're
hear.
unsure.
But
Like,
I do
that's
think
the
that this whole
mindset
like
that we
meet the
went in with,
DOJ
right?
shit
To then getting scolded. Yeah.
on
I mean,
these
it
kind of
ended
meetings
with-
is kind of strange.
Well, he said
And
he
I said
understands
that
it, so
much
what's
about the one with
issue?
Dakota.
I
Like, with
think
all due
that was,
respect,
like,
you guys are a different division.
Almost as close as I could get
Like,
to our
this
direct
is,
quote.
you guys realize, like, your position here, right?
In terms of my opinion, I'm not going to get like too jaded, but it does. There's definitely better ways that these communications can be handled.
Agreed.
There's a tone that's being taken of. I think, like you said, like you were being scolded. I think the term that was used by one of our deputy marshals when this happened to them a couple days ago was that they were being dressed down in the conversation, and that they felt cornered, and that they didn't really have an opportunity to properly prepare a response,
Collect their
or
thoughts.
call for, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that led to an increased tension in the conversation that was not necessary, most likely, and probably led to a miscommunication because there wasn't that time allowed to articulate things properly. And when you're forced to do things on the fly, sometimes things don't come across the way you necessarily intend them to. And it's a concern because it's a very important position. Ultimately, you know, somebody has to resolve these disputes, especially when it comes to DOJ stuff. Brian, when are we getting those deployable spikes or bollards installed?
Wait, you want me to? Oh, yeah, I've spiked this street race a million times.
Yes, we're getting rather remote deployable bollards or spikes, something affixed to each side of that, so we can just close it off when necessary.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think the bollards are probably not going to happen. I have an idea why, but
Damn.
yeah. But the other thing is being looked into.
Okay, fantastic. So it's concerning to, I guess, my opinion, TLDR is it's concerning to hear that was not an isolated incident and seems to be a repeating pattern.
Yeah, thank you, Papa. I'm glad you enjoy it, man.
That needs to get addressed.
Could you
How
link
to
me?
go
That was
about
a
I would
funny.
probably need time
Could
to
you
think,
link me the
but,
video? I really enjoy RPing with
yeah,
Warlock.
The fact it's repeated is a larger concern.
I'm going to point out something. They mention ex parte. In our situation, we mention ex parte. And in both cases, I don't understand why there's this. My judges, and it's any of them, that the judges or the defense lawyers are some special people that must be protected and can be not blemished with any sort of inference of accusation. But there is a seemingly hypocritical stance when it comes against law enforcement, where there is like this inherent inference of wrongdoing, absent any evidence or logic. And funny enough, and I'll just point it out because I think this is important here. This is my position. This is not representative of SASM. But I think when you say, hey, I believe you did an ex parte thing, it can be a conversation and it should not be bucketed with an emotional response. The other party should have an opportunity to explain why it was or why it was not. If it escalates to a point where there's evidence of it or there's strong evidence of it, it should be resolved through official proceedings if absolutely necessary. The second thing is the dressing down that it sounds like you might have get. I think equally is inappropriate, and they need to check themselves because they are not the ultimate authority. As those individuals in that room have not done major investigations, and some who have, they should know that when you have a big case, the reason we can lock down something is so that we have enough mental energy to collect everything and do it right. And it is of my strongest opinion that if we are moving in a direction where things are, let's say, less sweaty, which is the common themed like statements being made, allowing ad hoc stoppages and red tape, like doing these FOIAs and having these side meetings, it's going to hurt everyone because it's going to burn out the investigators. And you're like, if there was a mistake, they can do a civil lawsuit, right? Like 7 days after, right? If they said it 7 days later and they're like, yo, there's still nothing produced, doing it in the moment, that just fucks you guys up. You know what I mean? It fucks up the investigators. It breaks you out of the train of thought of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to do A, B, C, D, and now wait, hold on a second. Wow, now we have to go spend 3 hours with this fucking bullshit. I'm not.
So that's where I have and you mentioned, I think, Frost, that you kind of just trusted Opal's word or whatnot. Was there actually active investigation still going on, or was it over?
So the active investigation was, obviously we raided this warehouse. There was then some strings in there that all added up with relation to Kanashiro.
I think there's a way to
so
fix
for example,
it,
when we went
but
to
like,
lock down the warehouse,
it needs to
JJ
be
was present at the warehouse. He put on like a voice and like got all worried and left in his black Mayabatsu.
I think we need to
Once
clear
raiding
this
the
up.
property, we found multiple Kanashiro's identifications, including JJ's, like fucking legal firearms from, I can't remember who it was belonged to, but she was in Kanashiro too. During this time, Cass. During this time, I told Riker to go and check the Kanashiro properties in Mirror Park. Upon arrival, they had 4 black vans and they were emptying out the properties with like money bags on their waist and all of this shit. So this was the initial reasonable suspicion that we had. There was photos of the individuals with like money bags on their fucking waist running out of the properties, putting them into black vans. JJ rang Erin and asked if he could get his seeds out the warehouse for Kanashiro, again building affiliation. And then we subpoenaed all of Dante's phone records and bank details to see if we could see any payments towards the warehouse or any text messages that could build affiliation. So that was the last part from the RS that we had. So the subpoenas got signed off, and we were hoping to use the subpoenas to build PC to fulfill the search warrants. So that that is all factually providable, and that is a substantial amount of reasonable suspicion, and that is more than just to lock down a property for 14 hours. And I just want to I just want to state as well, as soon as they returned the drill, which we were raiding the warehouse for, we instantly unlocked every single property because we had found the item we were looking for.
Okay. So at that point forward, once the properties were unlocked and we had found the item, what, if anything, was continuing to be investigated at that point?
I'm going to be honest, this is like my first day back in like just under 2 weeks.
But there's nothing to investigate, right? Because we got the drill back. There's like
there's nothing to investigate in regards to the warehouse itself. However, inside the warehouse there was
evidence of weapons manufacturing and all this.
So there was 2 faceless coins. There was evidence of weapons manufacturing. There was evidence of weapons trafficking. Now, it doesn't take a genius to understand that Dante wasn't using 273 Glockatrons or fucking 20 shotguns for his own use, right?
Yeah.
And the affiliation that we had built, which we have built, and it is now known that he's in a Kanashiro affiliate, it is now known that they had access to that warehouse. So there is a secondary active investigation involved. And also, not only is there our investigation, McQuillan brought me to the side and stated that a couple of those properties that we had locked down.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Are you busy?
I am. Give me 30 minutes.
Fuck.
Is it an emergency?
Okay.
Is it an emergency? Shit. Oh, man.
Well, that's what they want.
You had to.
I mean, the thing is, just yesterday,
like even you
Poor
guys
guy.
are investigating the house we had locked down for fucking murder, right? Like they're like, it's all there. It's just not quite enough yet to actually get the search warrant signed. But it can take time. And the worst part is, and I tried asking this, and then I just got made to look like I was fucking stupid. I was like, Roman Atlas gave me a statue of the 19th of February to provide this PC or these statements. How is there a statue on an ongoing investigation on a house? Like, Knight, maybe you could explain this to me. Like the Blarney's investigation. So you're telling me that from the day I start that to 30 days, I can no longer investigate it? Like, I don't get it. And instead of like it being explained, it was just like, what?
Wait,
Really
what do you mean
know?
a statute?
He said that if we didn't provide the FOIAs by the 19th of February, they'd be out of statute, any probable cause regarding the other houses. So we would be then forced to provide.
What do you mean
it.
the 19th?
Because that was 30 days after.
Where did he pull that out of his ass? I'm confused.
Because he was saying, Jenna, do you remember this? He said something like, this is the date 30 days after the properties are locked down. Any evidence will be out of statute, so you will then be forced to provide the FOIAs, but I'm giving you until that date. That was what he first said.
He said that they can FOIA it once it's out of statute. We have to provide it because it's no longer an active investigation, and he personally would give them the extra time to file whatever.
You can't make that inference. What the fuck?
Yeah, he said that.
Then when I tried asking this,
sure. Like
when I tried asking this, I got shit on like I was brain dead and told to go and read the fucking go and told to read the statute legislation. And then Angel was like, you know what? I'll read it for you, and started reading it. I was like, yes, I know how statute works. I was like, that isn't what I'm asking. And I just So then that happened.
I mean, the thing that it came down to is, Angel said, well, my judges can't be corrupt. So he said, well, I didn't do nothing bad. And they said, well,
wait.
What?
I really don't like that. I can't be corrupt either, by the way. And I disagree.
Good. No one should be able to be.
No, but I'm saying I can't be corrupt either, but I think he's wrong.
Well, anyway, yeah, she said, my judges can't be corrupt. And so he came and said, no, I didn't do nothing bad, ma'am. And she said, well, you can't be corrupt.
What is the equivalent of the thin blue line for the DOJ?
The thin fucking brown line, brother. Oh no, that's me.
Yeah,
Jenna, with the thin brown line. Guess it would be like the thin, what's brown and blue together? Purple? No, you guys are purple. I don't know.
Are you okay? You just had a stroke?
For clarity, and I don't want to go deep into it, is the inference they can't be corrupt because they are being, like, you know?
I think so, yeah. I don't really know, but because I didn't get it at first either. I said, what do you mean by that?
Why don't you guys just read the statute legislation then? Well, how's that relevant? Like, this isn't like Forehead's done a fucking bank truck and I've got evidence to fucking push charges against him in 30 days. It's an ongoing investigation where I have reasonable suspicion and some strings to pull out, and I'm going to continue investigating it. This isn't progressive statute either. This isn't 30 days from when a crime was committed. If a crime was committed and I knew that, then that means I have probable cause, so I wouldn't be here fucking with reasonable suspicion with no signed search warrants. How does any of it make fucking sense?
I don't know about this corrupt thing either, unless I see it in writing.
You know what?
I'm just gonna. I think that's. I'm gonna look. I don't think that's real until I see it in writing, and what that's supposed to mean. And I say this because it's a very. I don't know. Like because incompetence you can still be unintentionally corrupt. Like, and corruption doesn't mean infallible, right? And that's part of the issue.
People still right? Like, who's going to admit to that?
Me violating someone's rights because I didn't know I was violating their rights is still corrupt.
Yeah, it's a very.
I was like maliciously corrupt, right? Like, you can be accidentally corrupt. Not that I'm justifying that you should be.
Yeah. You
wrong,
can.
But like, you can accidentally be like do a corrupt action, not knowing any. Just like fucking Toby Jones, for example. He reimbursed himself for tires out of the BCSO account. Like, but he didn't know he couldn't do that. Like, shit happens, right?
Oh well. What can you do?
Okay. So, and then the last thing Brian had mentioned was like there's concerns of like long-standing implications of what we must provide going forward or something to that extent. So it's basically this concept, I guess, that potentially active investigation stuff could get forced to be released under this process. But
it almost seems like based on everything that I heard here, there's an inference that if you get your shit locked down, you can ask for a warrant, not warrant immediately. You have to prove something is active with probable cause, which if it existed would be a full warrant, which is brain dead. It sounds very like put the blinders on and let's not think about like let me stand with the waving the flag of justice while simultaneously like stabbing myself in the gut.
In my opinion, that would be similar to a bench review, where there would be maybe a sealed hearing just between the state, the law enforcement officers that locked down the property and a judge to demonstrate a good faith reason why the property was locked down for the period that it was locked down. And if the judge, based on the evidence presented, determines that there was a sufficient good faith basis, they tell the person whose property got locked down, I've reviewed it and determined there was sufficient reason to lock it down at the end. Like a bench review.
I don't like any of that. It's red tape. It's bureaucracy. It's sweaty precedent. This is not what I was sold. This is my opinion, by the way. I don't want to say you're wrong here. I'm just kind of fighting back at the opinion, which is I'm thinking of like the raids that we conducted that took us 2 weeks. And we just had to explain, yes, this is working and it was operating based on good faith. Because quite frankly, if you are locking, I am of the opinion that if someone's locking someone's shit down and they don't have good probable cause and that they're doing it on bad faith, there's another entity above us that is gonna handle that. Like that. I mean, am I making sense here? If if I go and lock someone's shit down and I didn't have the good faith reason for it, like, I don't know if a judge need to get involved in that shit. Like,
I guess it's just on the if I'm
the
person,
to me, this is the equivalent of like clearing this evidence after I shoot you.
No,
like,
I mean, it's just to sort of touch on what I said earlier.
That's my genuine opinion.
I feel stupid. I feel like an idiot for not understanding what that meeting when we just had was like. I genuinely feel incapable because from my understanding of how stuff works and how we were just spoken to, I just can't make sense of it. It's like I had RS to lock a property down. We were trying to develop that RS into PC. I don't have PC yet. Otherwise, a search warrant would have been conducted. I've been asked to provide PC. I genuinely don't know if I'm just like, or
you're not. You're not. I don't think so. I think what you are sensing is reasonable because the lockdown, I was in the PD as an investigator, and it may have even been me who fought to get this lockdown thing. I've been through enough of how things came to be to tell you that the reason why we got local police to surround buildings upon lockdown is because back in the day we used to quite literally the way that it would work is let's say I got a drug dealer, let's say Jenna's a drug dealer, right? In like in a gang, like she's in the besties, and I catch her selling drugs. By the time I got to Mission Row PD, Jenna's roommate will have cleared everything because she knew that she was selling drugs and now she's in prison, right? The second was, so what that would mean is back in the day, I have to be like, yo, I need 6 people to sit on top of this property, right? To make sure no one goes in and clears it. And while even before now Jenna's in prison or like in the cells, there's now a shootout and all the cops are getting shot. So what was, and then even worse is that those cops, let's say the shootout didn't happen, they'd have to sit there for 6-7 hours or whatever until they got things done, and it was causing a very unenjoyable, overworked place, right? Where you're at the tail end of your shift and now you're doing a 4-hour, getting reports ready and stuff. That's why it's there. So inherently, I disagree that, like, I think after 3 days, we should have a reason that we can back in writing if requested. But prior to the 3 days, it's not compatible with San Andreas, and I have a strong stance on that.
But the thing is, saying that you have an active investigation is reasoning, no?
It depends. It's like two things, right? Yes and no. So denying a FOIA on an active investigation is correct, but they attempted to FOIA the activity. The FOIA was on the raid, no?
No, the FOIA was on the search warrant. The search
Yeah,
warrants
they-
that had been
Oh
started
yeah,
to be revoked.
the search warrant on the houses that were ultimately unlocked, right?
Yes.
Right, the
Yeah.
evidence that led to the lockdown, essentially.
So yes, that
Yeah.
I agree would be 30 days until you make the determination on good faith. The problem is good faith no longer has a hammer over your head. When back in the day, if you did shit that wasn't good faith, you get dunked over the head with it. If you don't, it's active as long as you have good faith for it, right? So you are correct. And any implication otherwise is, I'd like to hear the argument because it seems a little degenerate, if I'm going to be honest.
And this is the thing, right?
By the way, I know I'm yapping a lot. Blunt, I do
No,
want to
no,
hear
this is
your,
good.
you too, because you're pretty good with being
If
rational.
they wanted me to verbally provide the information, which I just did, so for them to, just for me to say that I don't have access to the report doesn't mean that I don't have the information. I mean, I quite clearly...
Hey, how you doing, Carmel?
I'm awful. The food in here sucks. And I don't have any makeup left.
Wait, they don't have that in there?
No, Brian, it's terrible. But you know what they do have? iPads that they never fucking go off of.
Ooh.
All of the DOC.
What?
They are sick. You want to see pictures? Because I got pictures. Hold on.
Wait,
got
who
the
else
proof.
is in there?
Me and Skipper. I asked them to entertain us, and they
Tell
acted like
Skipper-
we're just
tell
subhuman.
Skipper that he needs to entertain you.
Isn't that the DOC's job?
Not really.
Well, what if I say I want them to die?
They're good people. You know, they could be
They're
working.
mean. Working on what?
I don't know. Why don't you, you should talk to them and try to plan a concert inside Bolingbrook.
No, the warden said that I have to scrub toilets if I bother him again.
What?
I hate my
Oh
life.
my God. Okay.
Like the thing that's kind of frustrating to me is like we wanted to further with ties between this fella Dante and Kanashiro, for example, right? Because all that stuff was found in the warehouse.
I don't think
Now
this
we've
is the end of the
handed
world,
over
but we need
that-
some of those
that
clarities set up
information, and this whole
because
thing has become
this
very
kind of
muddy.
stuff is annoying. And it's
like,
what made
even just
the
yesterday, like
our
Dante, I don't know
previous
if he called me
docket
from a
cases
burner phone that he
unenjoyable
had
for
by
everyone
mistake,
because
or
the behavior
what
of the
heck he
defense
did, but he called
attorneys
me with
and
a
in this
different
case
number, and now I'm
the
like, well,
allowances of
I wanna-
this
I wanna
make
secure
these
that number and see if
not
he's
good
got
for
further
anyone,
ties
in my
there
opinion.
with Kanashiro, but I'm like, well,
But I think
what's the point?
it's
Like,
lacking in a basic understanding
it's
of
kind of all become,
what it takes from
know.
a
like we've
in
sort of given
character
them
but
our chickens before
OOC
they hatched.
Right. And that's what
effort and in like level of getting things
trying to put
done
myself in the shoes of
for
somebody
something
who,
as simple as
you know,
mechanically
I'm
not being
just
able to
chilling,
access
I
a
find
house
out that my property
for a small
is
period of
locked
time.
down. I don't have access to it for some period of time. It then gets unlocked, and I seemingly have no explanation as to why it got locked. Seeking out that information is not unreasonable. And that's where, if I have a concern that potentially it was done in bad faith, not knowing whether or not such hammer exists over people for acting in bad faith or not, and seeing, frankly, other instances of officers, not frankly, not particularly within the BCSO, but other individuals that have acted in bad faith in the past in some of their actions. I could understand potentially believing that your property was locked down in bad faith and at least wanting to see some information as to why it happened. I also see how that is part of an active investigation. That's where it comes down to, I don't think it's too much red tape. I don't think it needs to happen every time. But in a situation like that, where somebody's property got locked down, it got unlocked, and there's seemingly no explanation for them, they should be able to at least ask a judge for that sealed hearing that I was talking about. They should not be present for it. It should simply be a judge having law enforcement give the exact explanation that that Frost just gave right here of why is the property locked down? What is your good faith basis for locking down that property? There's at least just a check. It doesn't have to be too in-depth. It doesn't have to be a report. It doesn't have to be crazy. Now, if the cops lie to the judge in that moment and just straight up lie about the good faith of why they have the property locked down, that is probably going to be real bad.
And also,
but,
sorry to interrupt, just a quick one, right? In regards to what you're saying, is the fact that we unlocked the properties as soon as we retrieved the drill not good faith in its own? Does that not prove good faith?
It does, but I could see how not knowing that's why it got unlocked, being on the end of the person whose property got locked down, not having any information about it, I could understand them at least wanting to know what the hell is going on, you know?
I think they were told that that's why it was unlocked, if I remember rightly.
They were. Yeah. They were told that.
But they FOIA'd it. The property had been locked down, what did we say, Arnold? 14 hours or something? It had been locked down for?
14 hours. And just to state, right, the civil suit that they originally put up before the FOIA appeal, they were trying to sue the BCSO for $18 million for this 14-hour lockdown.
It was, they did that before, oh man, we were asleep when they put it up. It could have only been 5 hours after the lockdown that they put, yes, they put it up immediately.
That should be dismissed. And said refile when it makes sense.
Injunctive relief, and then the FOIA, and then it was crazy. It was crazy.
Okay. Wait, do we have a trial today? Is the penumbra trial today?
No, it's tomorrow.
It says 2/4/2026, 7 p.m.
Where?
Oh shit, that's in an hour, no?
Where do you see that, Brian? You're looking on your calendar. No, the trial schedule time is fucked. That is super uber fucked. Look in the title of the actual case. It's Thursday, February 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wait, then what the hell is the yellow shit?
It's currently broken.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. That's why they're setting the times in the titles of the cases.
You know what? I'm gonna FOIA request the DOJ on this. You know,
I want to know how. Fuck, I made some comparison earlier. It's like, so say on this Karen Shiro case on Saturday.
I'm coming for you, NNS.
I tell the judge I'm gonna quit, are they just gonna rule in my favor? Like, how the fuck does anything even work? Like, you know what's frustrating, right? That's probably not true. Listen, it's not true, but it's still reasonable to ask. All I'm saying, both court cases, like big court cases that I've been involved in or tried to push, I've just been awful. Like, remember that last one that I worked a lot on, the Barry Benson one, and they just predetermined the case before it even went to trial? Like, it's always shit.
I don't think anyone. Man? I'll tell you Oh, here's the blue-haired one. That's what they call him in LSPD.
Blue-haired one?
Yep.
At least it said hair. I've just heard him call him the blue one.
He's he's a funny guy, you know, just looking at him, I don't know.
There's a whole thing.
He's just a funny guy.
He's a stirrer.
Someone tried to push 10 years, $10 million on Carmela for like low-end terrorism. And
I think it was
came
10,
out
2010.
10, 20, 10. Oh, yeah. 10 years, 20-year parole, $10 million. And I heard this. I'm like, no, hell, you're not. And it got into like you're not going to do, even though she might be my fiance, I'm putting on the high command hat. We will not do that.
This is fucked up.
What about
the fiance bit? Like it's just fucked up. It just doesn't sit right with me.
I proposed to her over the phone the day before she did it all. But
yeah, you see, you know,
it turned into a whole thing where they were freaking out. Apparently, she was freaking out. I even made an issue with it. And she was demanding when I'm like, listen, I'm telling you this being in high command. And you know what I'm saying, dog? Actually, you know what I'm talking about. I kind of brought some of this up. You know what I'm saying there? And I'm like, listen, dog, that shit's way too high for San Andreas. And apparently she goes, I want them to contact me and tell me that. So we had to go and meet Faulkner, who had the same thought without even talking to me, how cooked the charges were. Like, they were so egregious. And that officer refused to break off a call that they're on for like 2 hours to have that meeting because they were so annoyed. Oh my God.
You know, just because I don't think it was necessarily fair to you to put you in that position. Isn't that the whole point of the DOJ signing off on plea agreements, is to give that last kind of just like sanity check?
It's two things. High command has gotten, we've had very good conversations about not sometimes guidance comes from us, right?
Yeah.
So and that's it. That's that.
Lead.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I mean, fuck, I don't know, man. But it's like, oh, I've got another question, blunt, for you actually. So from my understanding, right, when you write a search warrant, you put in your probable cause. A commanding officer then reviews that to see if they agree that there's probable cause. A judge then reviews it to see if there's probable cause, and then they sign it if they agree that there is probable cause. The point of the judiciary
Aaron doesn't even know
like,
I ignore my
secondary defense against the individual's rights and law enforcement, right? So
Yeah,
when a
unbiased
search
party.
warrant is then contested, why does that then fall on the lap of the law enforcement instead of the judiciary who signed it? And I'm not complaining that it shouldn't be that way. I'm
both
just curious.
It's both. It's both. At that point, if there was not sufficient probable cause and the judge signed it, the judge is also liable for the rights violation that occurred because they approved it.
Oh, okay.
what are you
I guess
referring
I'm
to?
just-
Approve what?
A search warrant. So let's say a
Oh.
search warrant gets signed and then it gets, you know, overturned because there wasn't probable cause. Why is the liability only on the PD? It's not. I mean, the judge.
It
that signed
depends on
also
what it
shares
is,
in that
though.
Liability.
Yeah,
Well,
it
okay,
depends
so if
on what the
PD
complaint
acted
is.
in bad faith and gave the judge bad intel, which is why it was not probable cause, and the judge, you know, acted in good faith based on the information presented in front of them, then no, they wouldn't inherently be liable.
You mean
But
like
if,
Project
you know,
White?
Everything. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was making a joke. Please continue.
Oh, yeah. If you know everything was presented in good faith and it was signed and there just, you know, wasn't probable cause, like I saw Jimmy jump off of that roof onto the ground and therefore he has a gun in his apartment, where it just like doesn't make sense, and that's just what's written there, and the judge signed it anyway, then yeah, they're gonna share in some liability for signing that because it's just dog shit PC.
Okay. I mean, that was just a question. That wasn't relevant.
But if, you know, if I tell a judge, hey, I saw this guy run into this house and then run back out with a gun, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then it turns out, oh, but it was actually just like, you know,
a grapple
hammer
gun
or something, or a grapple gun or something. It wasn't like an actual, and okay, well, you told the judge it was a gun, which is why they signed it. If you said I wasn't sure if it was a gun, they wouldn't have signed it. That's on you, not them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Oh wait, I'm doing this pose too. I looked at you and I got disgusted for a second, and then I realized I'm doing it as well.
Yeah, I was doing it because you were doing it.
I was doing it, and then I realized I don't want to do it anymore because there's someone that does it all the time.
Does Carmela ever do, you know, what you do, the posing?
No. There's just someone I see going around. Like anytime there's like
I do that.
you know,
I do
like
that
a
all the
command
time.
plus like any information around. Like there's just someone that just happens to like
There's
you just
actually two
just out
people
of
who
nowhere.
would
There's
do
a guy
that.
that just shows up and he just like stands there.
Wait, a guy who?
Jenna,
Could
what
be anyone. It
No.
could be anyone.
You think there's two? I know of one.
Yeah, I was
One of-
thinking
well,
of
one
Ruby.
One of them's not
I was,
around
yeah, I was
anymore.
thinking of Ruby. Ruby always does this.
Oh,
no?
Ruby does do.
Then she answered the phone. She goes, "Hello, this is Ruby."
Yeah, but Ruby's actually working.
I had an argument. Me and Ruby aren't friends in a minute.
Why?
She rang me the other day. I said, "Hey." She was like, "Hey, that's how you answer the phone to people." I was like, "Well, I just won't answer the phone to you at all then." I put the phone down. What does she want me to say?
Okay, can we be
You know.
nice to Ruby? She's the
Well,
only
no,
thing left.
I tried to be.
Shift
but like,
2 LSPDs in a is not the
she gave
same,
me
all right?
Passive aggressive because of how I answered the phone. I said, "Hey."
I think that's just her voice or accent.
No, that is not. It was the word. She went, "That's how you answer the phone to me. You say, hey." Like that, like brother. Aggressive as fuck. It's so unnecessary.
I don't want to tell you you're reading it wrong, but yeah, it sounds like you're reading too deep into that one.
I don't know. It's constant.
I've known Ruby for a long time. I don't think that.
No.
that's like-
It's constant. The other day we went to the interviews, which LSPD are allowed in our interviews all the time. We turned up, see how the interviews were going on. Me and Jenna. She was like, "Why are you guys here?" We were like, "Oh, we were just here to check in." She was like, "Well, you can leave now." So we left. Honestly, brother,
That
it's
was
like, it's
pretty,
like a,
no, that was
it-
actually
it-
pretty crazy. I was a
it's
bit
like
oh.
it's a pattern. It's not a one-time
Okay,
thing.
all right.
I mean, she told me all I do is sit in the car and do nothing. So
No.
listen,
No!
some people just have bad days
What?
sometimes. Like it is what it is. It's okay.
Wait, why did she say that?
I think she was frustrated with
She's
a
horrible
foot chase.
sometimes.
Well, I think you know we're kind of getting derailed. We should go back to the original conversation.
what stemmed it? I'm curious.
We had a foot chase. There was two people chasing them on foot. Ruby was one of them, and I was in the car with my unit because we were remaining mobile while they were chasing them. And I said, "Good job, everybody." And I can't remember what she said. Yeah, you
Yo,
did.
Jenna,
you
Ruby
did a whole
fight
lot in that,
sounds
Jenna.
so
Good
funny
job.
to me.
Like over the radio, and I said, "Thank you. I think I did do a good job." And she said, "Yeah, you did such a good job of sitting in the car doing nothing."
No.
And I was like, and I was like,
Yo.
what? And so I didn't say anything, and I ended up
Yo, and
texting
Jenna, Ruby
later, and I
fight
said,
sounds
like, hey,
so
like,
funny to me.
you know, what was that about? Because she said in the past several similar comments, and I said, like, what was this? Like, was this a joke? And she said it was just a joke, and I'm like, okay. I don't think it was a joke. I think that.
Yo, what?
I mean, there's a lot of things I can't do. Like I can't really do comms. It doesn't. I can't talk for that long time anymore, and I'm pretty insecure about it. So maybe I just
great.
took a. It's not that I can't do it and that I'm incapable. It's that I physically can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's all reminded me though. Clown Card with Maxwell the other day night, and I fucking forgot how fun it is to just listen to Maxwell in the car for an hour. Like it, you know, when you just like you throw a few digs or.
Well,
a few
I know how it
stirs,
goes. I fucking love that shit. Marshals. I heard in the grapevine my poor Miller, he's told he can't go on no investigative field trips, and then all of a sudden that Erin, oh my God, they've been bullying her. I tell you what, she's you know how many court cases she's won, my little angel.
And then I kept saying,
No, that's insane.
what did she keep saying? She kept saying like, "Oh, you know, the marshals are probably gonna come after my ass in a few days. I'll tell you." But I was like, "Well, maybe if you didn't cover up Bill Macy's shit, they wouldn't." I kept stirring.
Oh,
but,
don't you
it's-
bring up Bill Macy. He's a darling. One of the best attorneys. He did nothing wrong. And oh, my poor Kyle Prado. He's been out of job for so long. Poor
God.
thing.
No, I'll be honest though, I do love Maxwell. Like, it's never a bad time in a car with her. You know what I mean? Like, it's always fucking. She's always 100%.
I'm actually. I don't know why I made her British, but I don't know. It's funnier that way, maybe.
I do like Maxwell a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the original topic. Puts us back on rails. Did we have anything else to discuss about that?
No, I do think that for me, the biggest takeaway is that is a fear I have if that becomes like a standard, you know, like trying to FOIA and da-da-da-da-da. I think if there is issues, we shouldn't not consider having clarity in the law for it. Like, imagine if your house is on lockdown, law enforcement can have up to X amount of days. You know, after X amount of days, only then you can FOIA the related, like a document explaining why something is what it is. Right? Is that making sense? Like, there needs to be a better remedy given the fact that these tools were already used, you know?
You know what the problem is though, and I hate to doom. Yes, it does make sense. But from the conversation we just had, the sensual facts that you are stating right now don't matter.
It's a good
Why?
thing that any lawyer can put up a bill.
Yep. Thanks to a good senator who saw this coming.
What, Nino?
Yeah. Made it so anyone
Oh
with a
my
bar
God.
license can force legislation through,
Maybe I
including if the mayor says no to it because he's a criminal, that it goes to vote. So,
That just gave me a great idea.
yep.
I'm one of Nino's best friends.
Really?
Yeah, we had sexual relations and then it turned into like a best friendship after I shot him. I might ask if he'll prosecute this Karen Shiro case. I'll drop him a text.
I don't think he's a prosecutor. He
Yeah, well,
normally
he can-
goes after
yeah, but
DOJ and
The beautiful thing about
PD.
Nino is he's just
So-
like a non-stop aggravated yapper. You know, like you just talk shit.
That didn't work very well for Pred.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Pred's like dumb as fuck.
You know, separate to all this, I'm going back to derailing the conversation. Separate to all this, we've also got the docket posting for the Dante Thomas like raid thing, like the charges and stuff. And yesterday they were
Which
shockingly
I
to
didn't
me,
plagiarize, by the way.
Anyway, it was shocking to me that they filed injunction or whatever to unlock the property that we're trying to seize for some reason. I really don't understand that one, but whatever. It was ruled it was to be unlocked. We said okay, but they said in the ruling like that they can't transfer, sell, or divest in the property. Let me see if I can get the exact wording. And like me, with my very limited law knowledge, and you know, I only know so many words. I'm like, I don't know what divest means. I had to look that shit up. And
You
I
didn't
can't
know
even
what
find that it's
diverse meant?
divest.
Oh. I think it means
He
like, let's
said-
go deeper into this, right?
No, divest
No.
is to
Oh.
remove. It's the opposite of
Devalue,
invest.
essentially.
Oh, I thought it was like, you know, you were speaking to me and I was like, you know, let's divest into this a little bit. Like, you know, let's get deeper in there. You know what I mean?
No.
No.
So the ruling says motion is granted and the property is be unlocked. However, the courts will be laying conditions on the property as it is a target of criminal asset forfeiture, and that determination may come as a result of this case. The court will be placing a freeze on the property as not to be sold, transferred, nor may the defendant divest in the property in any way, shape, or form. The property is to be unlocked as soon as possible. So I get a call from Dante. Why isn't my property unlocked yet? I can't
I
remember
can't
how
believe
long
they
after.
unlocked it.
I'm flabbergasted, but that's a whole
I'm
separate
actually,
thing.
yeah, like it's fucking insane that they.
Well, who unlocked
So-
what?
We'll go into that in a sec.
Norman ruled that the property was to be unlocked. Dante starts calling me. Actually, sorry, prior to that, we were like, when it comes to divesting, does that mean like the contents within the property? So like the structural walls, for example, the doors, the doorknobs, the the cupboards, the containers that held the weapons, even, right? Like the weapon racks that have them proper ass guns on it. Like, can they remove those from the property? Is that then evidence tampering? If we're gonna say this is in the property, and then they go to the property and be like, well, there's none in there, like. At what point does divesting in the property, like, what does that mean? Does that mean they can't remove?
What's the usage of the word in the sentence? Sorry, is there something I can look at?
Yes, it's in Crim 24. It's the Dante Thomas, the People versus Dante Thomas or whatever, and it is Norman Adams ruling toward the bottom. Motion is granted for the property to be unlocked. However, the court will be laying conditions on the property as it is a target for criminal asset forfeiture, and that determination may come as a result of this case. The court will be placing a freeze on the property. It is not to be sold, transferred, nor may the defendant divest in the property in any way, shape, or form. The property is to be unlocked as soon as possible.
Divest, and that means, yeah, like sell it off or sell any of the contents therein.
So that. Right, the contents therein is
well, it doesn't
exactly
say the content. That's a dispute. Yeah.
So if they sell tacos in from Taco Suya that they use the seeds in the warehouse to cook, and they're selling things inside the property,
Wait, let me.
I mean, I don't know.
What's the date time on this?
It is. Oh wait, I don't know if this will be the same, but it's the 4th of February at 9:02 a.m. for me. Okay, so. Anyway, we reached out to the judge to say, please, may we discuss the ruling with you, like for clarity, not to change it. We don't want to fight it, right? If that's what he rules, but we need clarity in the divest stuff. So Norman said, yeah, okay, I'll be around in a few hours, whatever. I said, okay. So he comes around. In between that time, I'm getting calls from Dante. Why isn't my property unlocked yet? And I said, well, we're reaching out to the judge about it for clarity, and it'll be unlocked after. And we're in the middle of an active. We were in an active like from start to go. Once we saw it, we were active, like on a call, and then eventually we had the talk with him, and he said, nah, dog, they can get rid of the stuff inside. He said, he said to me, at the end of the day, is a weapon rack really illegal once you've taken the guns out of it?
Who said that?
And I said, yes. I said, yes, it is. If it was used in the commission of a crime, which it was, to store the illegal weapons, the judge, Norman. I said, if it was used in the commission of the crime to store the illegal weapons, then yes, it is inherently illegal. I said, similar to a lockpick. A lockpick is not illegal until it's used to lockpick a car in the commission of a crime, and then we seize it. Just like a radio.
Just like a radio, yeah.
And
I am also going to make the argument that a weapon rack inherently is illegal, and this you have the lawful right. If it, like, those weapon racks are shining of what appears to be class 2 because you're inherently, I don't know. Listen, they look that way for a reason, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I said to him, like, if we're seizing a car, we don't unlock the vehicle so that they can take out the engine, take out the seats, take out the stereo, put it on bricks. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that we would unlock the property and allow them to, remove the contents of the property. I don't know, very bizarre ruling to me. But anyway, he seemed pretty upset that we needed clarity on that, and he seemed agitated that I should ask for that, and I don't. So when they make, like, he made his ruling, the property is to be unlocked as soon as possible. It was not possible in that moment to unlock the property because, one, we were in the middle of a active situation that we couldn't break off of, and also we were seeking further clarity. Like, how does that work? Am I gonna be, like, do you think, like, are we now liable for the extra pain and suffering that they've incurred from being locked down for an extra hour? Like, I don't know.
personally wouldn't think so. Worst case scenario, the judge, if he felt it was like a violation of his order that it wasn't done, they could say it was a violation of the order, but it doesn't sound like it's that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once
Mm.
after we spoke to him and we finished, because we spoke to him in the processing cells, like we couldn't have gone any sooner. After we finished processing, like off we went and unlocked it. But I don't know,
Sounds like you're
like
acting in good faith.
what would they have done if, like, if we were not, like, if I, for example, was not around and Arnold was not around and Ventura was not around, someone like actually like involved in the docket posting was not around, what would they have done in that situation?
Jack Davenport got involved.
I mean, yeah, it's
I
very
don't
possible
fucking
that...
see any reports, mate, but I'll look it can't.
No, I mean, if a judge, the judge, you know, nobody was responding, the judge would probably come around and ask any law enforcement officer that was able to say, there's a court order to unlock this property, I need you to unlock it, I imagine is what would happen. Or, I don't even know, judges might be able to unlock properties themselves. I don't know exactly to what extent or ability they have. But it would be somewhat reasonable for a judge to come around and say, hey, there's a court order to unlock this, I need you to unlock it, if that is necessary.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know. The whole thing was very, like he said, I was extremely clear in my ruling. And I
think that was a
I was like,
reasonable
well,
question
like,
to ask.
I've got to, you know, I felt fucking stupid as hell. Like, I was like, I guess I'm a fucking moron. I don't know.
I don't...
Because, like, he said it like 3 times. I was very clear. This shouldn't need to be explained.
Oh, shit's cooked.
Who said
I don't
that?
understand the
Roman did?
condescending nature.
Norman.
I think,
Norman.
I think, to be fair to him, he was getting hit up because he told me that Dante had also been calling him. Why isn't my property unlocked yet? So I think that he just wanted to get it done. So I don't really hold it against him or nothing, but I just don't really understand, like, how to, like, don't really understand how to move forward with all of these, because I feel like we're really tiptoeing and walking on eggshells. And
What I will say though, Jenna, is as horrible as this is, and as hard as they are going, and as much people as we are having to speak to and opinions that we're getting, it is a lot of learning experience we might not have got from another situation. So that even in this sweatiness, there is still a positive silver lining of we are learning how to deal with these individual sweaty things one by one, which is making us more competent in law and court, right? So don't forget that either, as tough as it is right now.
yeah, I'm still waiting to have a positive experience in the courtroom, and I'm hopeful for that day.
Yeah, me too. Also, I just remembered why the tone of that meeting might have been much worse than it. I forgot,
Why?
you know, the noise that I made on my MDT at the start.
What was it?
Oh.
Roman walked in and I played on my MDT. I forgot I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The whole thing's cooked though, yeah. Not only what Jenna's just mentioned here, right? Well, I stated, I rebutted the motion for the lockdown. And I wrote the defendant's motion for injunctive release should be denied in its entirety. The property should remain lawfully secured based on the over amount of probable cause law enforcement has pertaining to weapons trafficking and weapons manufacturing. The needs to be remain locked down. Contrary to the defense's assertions, the lockdown of the property is not administrative convenience, I stated, but a necessary preservation measure while the matter is awaiting trial. Regardless of if the illegal items are no longer in the property, that does not change what the property was used for and can/will be used for again. As for the defense's argument about the GPUs, these will be rusting regardless of if Mr. Dante has access to the property or not. That was a ridiculous argument, right? So then Angela Han replies to this. The people's response avoids the real issues and relies on speculation. Law enforcement already removed everything it claimed was illegal from the property. Once those items were seized, there was nothing left to preserve. Continuing to keep the property locked down is no longer about evidence and instead results in an ongoing restriction on the defendant. The people also fail to explain how they are permitted to maintain a lockdown without a properly filed CAF request. Repeating probable cause does not replace the need to follow the required process. The claim that the property could be used for illegal activity, again, is speculative. The court does not restrict property based on speculations on future conduct, particularly where the defendant has offered reasonable conditions to address any concerns. Calling the lockdown non-punitive does not change its effect 10 days after the raid. The defendant remains denied access to lawful belongings, when in practice functions as punishment before trials. For those reasons, the defendant requests that the court unlock the property, to which Norman just said, yeah, unlock it. Oh,
You know,
this guy was manufacturing and trafficking firearms from this building, and the building has links to an enemy of the state / terrorist organization. I don't understand, regardless of what the defendant responds, how the justice system can find just in unlocking it. And I also don't understand how they're claiming it's speculation.
well, I mean, you can't say what it will be used for in the future necessarily. That is kind of speculatory.
That part is. I don't know. I just feel that if I'm trying to seize the warehouse, and this warehouse, we're not talking like a little fish situation either. These guys had like 273 fucking weapons, like loads of shit, right? Including ties to a terrorist organization. The court case is like 5 days away, and I'm attempting to seize it on the docket post. I don't understand why we would give him access to it.
Because you can't. I wouldn't be too stressed about that.
I'm not stressed. I'm curious. Again, the way that the judge replied, instead of that, like, what I really would have loved is the judge to have said, like, motions
no,
granted.
I think that's normal. We did that with Benji, didn't we?
The reason that I'm granting this is due to like X, Y, and Z, instead of just granted. You know, like
It's
I love to use these situations to learn, but everything's so like cagey.
I think it's cagey because not a lot of people know the answers, and I'm gonna be that guy, right? I love Norman. He didn't know how to document a gun off Carmine Costello, which would have caused another felony when he started opening fire in the lobby of SASM. Norman's very good. There's certain things he doesn't know, right? Roman is also pretty new, right? You know some things. I know some things. Jenna knows some things. Bunt knows some things. I think sometimes there's no answers to these questions because they're such rare occurrences that sometimes you may get a non-answer because the other party doesn't know. You know what I mean?
Norman's been in DOJ for a very long time, and Roman's been in DOJ similarly for at least a year. I don't think either of them are particularly new.
No, that's not what I necessarily mean. Like, so Norman has been a justice for a very long time, but the scenario of the what happens to a property upon these situations has changed over the years and time, because back in the day you didn't even have to worry about it, right?
I'm not necessarily talking bad on Norman, by the way.
I know,
It's more like this fucking 2-hour conversation, however long we've had. The circle that we keep coming back to is the pattern in like Roman made a decision without us present or explaining why. Norman made a decision without explaining why. All I want is like, if you're going to make a decision against me or for me, either way, all I want is them to just give me a little bit of a description on, I'm making this ruling because of this. Not only do I want that because I can then read it and say, okay, that's fair enough. I also want to see it because I care about developing my law knowledge too. And if these decisions are either ruled against or for with no explanation, how am I ever going to learn to rebut it or learn to do something differently?
That is fair. Or pass the information on.
Or pass the information on, or teach people like, oh, I had a situation like this and the judge ruled against it because of this, so we need to do this. How am I ever going to do that if no one in the judiciary explains their ruling?
Yeah, I think that that's extremely reasonable and fair. I think that's
Mm.
fair expectation.
Like I said, I've
I
never had
was-
a mentality of like winning court. I don't care. Like you win court regardless, but you don't win court regardless if you don't learn anything. And them not explaining shit means that you can lose court. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I was frustrated by that one in particular because they filed the motion to unlock the property, right? And they put in their, their argument for the injunctive relief to unlock the property, and then we put
I'm
in our
glad we're
rebuttal,
giving them an outlet here,
and
chat.
then they rebuttal to our
because
rebuttal,
it's
which I don't know how to handle that then because they shouldn't be. They put in their motion, we rebut, then judge rules. We don't have a back and forth continuous rebuttal, so like I wanted to rebut to her claims, which she misconstrued some of the information in there. For example, she says that since this is people also failed to explain how they permitted to maintain a lockdown without a properly filed CAF request, as required by Section 20B of the due process legislation. That's not applicable in this case.
No, because you're
Section
asking
20
procedure on the docket. It's
Yes.
different.
So, if the ruling was made based on her rebuttal to our rebuttal, for example, this is the last thing in your mind. I find that to be quite improper. And those small procedural errors, after they rebutted to our rebuttal, I said, Your Honor, in the future, should we continue to go back and forth with our rebuttals, or would you prefer the usual standard of one rebuttal for a motion prior to your ruling? Prosecution is happy to continue rebuttals, but seek clarity prior to doing so, and that was ignored and the ruling was made. So I would have liked to rebut to state that the CAF request as per their rebuttal and the legislation is not applicable in this situation. I mean, it's
I think
probably
you're-
nothing, but that
Yeah.
frustrates me.
You're doing the right thing and acting in good faith and trying to get that clarity from the judge, but if they're not going to give it to you, just do what you think is right until they tell you to stop, I guess, right? Yeah, provide your rebuttals. If they're going to allow multiple rebuttals from the other side, and you've tried to point it out, and they've just stonewalled you, all you can do is then continue to provide your rebuttals until they tell you to stop, and then you can ask, okay, why? And if they still don't want to tell you, then yeah, I mean, that's cooked. That's just cooked.
That makes sense.
Sorry, go on.
So, no, you say on.
No, because mine's a new topic, so I don't want to change it if you're...
Well,
Still.
I was gonna say, for the learning thing, I feel like I haven't really learnt anything helpful or positive. I've only learnt that I don't enjoy this.
You say that, right? But what you don't realize is... So pretty much how we handle situations is through experience of handling a situation, right? Like once you've handled something once, you know how it works, you know what you did, you know how to improve and do it better next time. So even though you don't feel you've inherently learnt something yourself, next time you're in a situation where a like-for-like situation happens, like say somebody puts up a civil case trying to do the same shit because you've locked down a property, because you've experienced that firsthand and dealt with it yourself, you now know how to deal with it the next time. So you've learned how to deal with a situation. You might not have learned a new skill, or you might not have learned new information, but you've learned how to handle a situation that can be common, right? And eventually, once you've spent so much time in court or on the docket or fighting these cases or fighting these civil suits, there's only so many things that can go to court, like drugs trafficking, weapons trafficking, murder. And once you've handled them once or twice or 3 times, you're going to handle them better each time, right? Because you're going to remember or reference what you did last time. So you are naturally learning something, even if it doesn't feel like you are. And it will
I have
definitely...
a question, actually. So, we went back and offered them a new plea deal yesterday, because they said they would only accept the plea deal if we didn't seize the warehouse.
Okay.
So we went back and offered a new, because currently the plea deal was $5 million plus 5 years plus the seizure of the warehouse. I don't think any parole, just 5 years from the now. They said they wouldn't accept unless we remove the warehouse. So we went back to them and said, okay, if we're removing the warehouse, then we'll do 10 years, $10 million, and that's it. And I expected them to say we're not going to accept that much money, and we would wiggle down to somewhere around 7, right? But then they came back and they said, no, we will only accept this if it's 10 years, 5 million, no warehouse seas, and also you must remove the hag charges from the filing.
Yeah, so basically drop the case.
I said to them, we can't do that. We can't drop the charge. I'm acting on the presumption that we can't do that. Like, hardline can't do it.
Yeah.
Is that the case? Like, I've never had anyone ask of that before.
But that would be if there was like, imagine someone did terrorism. Generally, no, unless there is a very good reason for it. So you're saying like drop weapons trafficking?
Was it manufacturing or trafficking? One of them is a hag and one of them is not.
Manufacturing is a hag, trafficking is not. Yeah.
Yeah, so they want that dropped because they said in case he wants to get an expungement in the future. And I said, well,
that's not how it works.
Get one-time
I gotta give you something.
No.
So.
Yeah, no.
Like, if the evidence was low, like, let's say you're like, I don't think we might be like, the evidence is a little light. That's reasonable, but if you got them, then there doesn't make any sense to. I feel like these motherfuckers doing some crazy shit. I'm just being real.
Well,
like,
when we left the room for them to discuss amongst like Dante and the lawyer to discuss, and they took a long time. And then when we were invited back in, the lawyer apologized. She said, "I'm sorry. I had to talk to everybody, and everyone's got a different opinion." And I was like, I said to her, I said, your client's right here.
She's very reasonable, by the way, that attorney. So
she seems nice.
Yeah, I think
she's
probably
she carries a towel, I think.
Yeah, well, she might speak on behest of her clients, is what it's sounding like. Like
no, like separate to Dante. Like she was getting the opinions of the people that weren't with her, and that's why it took so long because she had to call so many people.
Kanashiro, obviously, right?
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, I'm bad as subpoena to get these ties, and I was like, no, I just can't bother.
Hey, Nakota. Hey, Nakota.
Oh, goodness.
How you holding up?
Hey, that's like crazy timing that you just texted me. I just emailed you the 3 plea deals that I have like pre-written up with the charges, with the statement of probable cause for each one in the body. 620 words.
Oh, this is great.
I had to shift the statement around for Alfonso because I referenced the
fishing without a license.
Yeah, you admitted it.
True.
In his probable cause, I rounded it out by saying he was on a 6-minute phone call with Jorn. He was fully aware of the situation he was entering himself into when he arrived on scene and started trying to help them get away from detention.
Yeah,
the
I
other
like
two
that.
are different because
accomplice
they're the
instead
main.
of accessory.
Okay.
No, you did that.
And the other two are the main actors. Those are obviously written a little bit differently at the end.
Let's see. Okay, let me send this to Blunt too. I'm gonna pull him aside and let's see how we do this, and we could maybe even get this signed by email so that when they wake up tomorrow, it's boom boom. If that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna send this to the DOJ to see what the sentencing should be.
No, we want to put in like our recommended and then say, what do you think? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, for the gravity of the situation and what we heard in interrogation, I want to do 10 and 10 for the main two. Only because when I was listening to them, like today in interrogation, they knew who they were luring here. They knew why they were luring here, and then they acted on it.
Let's say 10-10, and then be like, we don't know how serious this president is.
Correct.
We need your help. So
I'm always
we go
taking
with the
into
number.
account.
We're taking into account this is actually the president, and it has a lot of weight. But
Yes.
because it's so openly gray,
Yes.
Please consult and
yes. I have
get
no
us a number. Yeah.
You know me. I have no problem
Yeah.
taking consultation from the state in a situation like this.
I
so.
love this. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to make sure that it was
Easy. Send
Brendan.
Blunt a question. Send it to Blunt as well. And we'll see if we can get that sorted ASAP.
Okay. I'll send it to him right now.
Easy. All right, brother. Talk to you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye. It doesn't matter, chat. The thing is, like, we don't know how serious his RP is supposed to be because
I do have one more question.
it's a president, not president.
So this
So
guy has a hag charge, right?
we're gonna lean on getting guidance on the fine
Can I
and
ask
time because I think
the
that's like a.
DOJ, because typically, say if I had him at custody during the raid, I would have sent him up to trial, and he could have like tried to get bail conditions and been bailed out until trial. But obviously this was a night raid where he wasn't in custody. The possessions and shit, like the charges are all there. There's probable cause for all of them, obviously. They told me that I'm not allowed to like write a warrant or arrest him prior to the trial because it's on the docket. But it's still a hag charge. If I had him in custody, I could have sent him up. But because I don't have him in custody and posted it on the docket, he's just free to live his life of luxury until then. Because then my argument would have been, why do I need to unlock the warehouse when the owner of the warehouse
Wait.
is...
What?
No, that's
Yeah, they
not
told-
true. Didn't we just get done
No.
being
Jenna,
told
they told
recently
us
that we
right?
have to, before you go to the docket, you have to try to capture them?
But no, but I wasn't aware of that, right? So I already put it straight on the docket that night or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then I asked if I could write an arrest warrant or if I could arrest him, because if I had him in custody during the raid, I would have sent him up on a hold until trial, right? But because
Wait,
I
but
posted,
is it a hag?
yeah, it is a hag, yeah, weapons manufacturing. So when I asked if I could arrest him or write a warrant, they said no, I'm not allowed to because it's on the docket.
I do remember a conversation being had. I don't remember anything
I'm
about
so
it.
confused.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very confusing.
Because the reality of it is, if I had him in Bolingbroke right now,
Well,
my argument would have been, why would I
yeah,
not
he
have
needs a
property?
bail
He's-
hearing.
Yes, he does, but they
Yeah.
told me that I can't do anything until he just has to turn up to court now because I put it on the docket.
I gotta go pull Blunt aside, and I have a feeling we're gonna cook
Yeah.
ourselves thinking logic too much.
Okay.
I'm gonna
You
go
know?
pull the boat again.
It's kind of like we've been putting talking about putting a cylinder through a circular hole in a peg, and we're like, of course it goes in here, but we're arguing why is someone trying to have us put a triangle peg in, and we're trying to make sense of it, but the reality is it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So, all right. Hey,
Yeah, well,
It was a good talk.
we'll see you in court Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
Well,
if you need any help with
maybe if
anything or
that's
whatever,
when
let me
it's-
know.
Well, Sparks is gonna help us. So.
hell yeah.
Put
Sparks
the
is great.
brakes on my car if you wanted to. That would help.
You know, I was looking at it. Failure to appear is a misdemeanor.
That's crazy.
No, genuinely, I looked at it.
I'm
I'm just saying.
I think that's so that cops don't get fired if they get.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah.